Hi guys, my name is Myra Valle and I virtually attended the Greenfield Union District Special Board meeting, which was on February 4th, 2016. So in the beginning, they're attempting to arrange their schedules with the superintendent, Don Irvin, for an upcoming meeting. Many people had trouble with their schedules and it was difficult to come to an agreement. So the first motion is set was about the staff report, and it was just the board reviewing the staff report for a couple of minutes. The staff report was about a recommendation for the appointment of Brian Dromiak as a Director of Maintenance, Operations, and Transportation. So they just discussed the position, when the position opened, and the applicants. And then they discussed the qualities of Brian. He was a very impressive man. He was actually in charge of building 2 schools, and he had excellent communication skills, and he was very passionate about his job. It wasn't followed by any questions from the board. I'm guessing they really liked him. Then they set the motion and they voted in favor of his appointment. Then he came up to accept the position and he gave a speech. And he was very charming. Then they proceeded to the board workshop. So the board got up and they went to the audience section of the room. And an attorney passed out some pamphlets about the Brown Act. And the attorney was from the Sam Smith Corporation. So along with the pamphlets, he put up a PowerPoint about the Brown Act. And he explained the purpose of the Brown Act was essentially to make sure that the board did their business in public. So the public knew what they were doing, and they had a say in the decisions that the board was going to take. He explained what the Brown Act applied to, which was the board members, because they were elected representatives. It didn't apply to staff. And it also applied to the subcommittees of the board, if the board appointed them. So what the Brown Act required was that the board meet in public. It didn't have to involve the public, but it had to be in a public place. In the meetings, they had to provide agendas and packets, and the agenda had to be posted on the district website, just to allow the public to know what the board was doing. He explained what was considered to be a meeting, and he discouraged the board hanging out together in more than couples, because if it was 3 or more that were engaging in talk about the school, it was considered a meeting, which would require them to post it online. He discussed the types of meetings there are, which is regular meetings, special meetings, and emergency meetings. A regular meeting is just, it's a regular meeting when they set it at the end of the organizational meeting. And the agenda has to be up 72 hours before the meeting. Then he said what was considered a special meeting. And that's when the meeting isn't on the agenda. It has to be called at 24-hour notice, and it allows public comments on things that aren't on the agenda, and it could be called at any time. And then he explained what an emergency meeting is. He explained that they're rare and that they could be called at up to an hour notice. An example for reasons to make an emergency meeting would be threats or floods. you're also required to call the media, and you still have to post what occurred in the meeting after, so that the people and the public know what occurred in the meeting. He explained what's not considered a meeting, which would be like going to a party where everybody on the board is present. It's not considered a meeting unless they talk about school related stuff. He talked about how serial meetings are prohibited, and serial meetings are meetings through technology, because they're banned because the public isn't able to comment or have a say on the things that they discuss or the things that they decide. So he also explained that the board meetings have to be within the district boundaries. I'm guessing it's because it's the only way the locals are able to attend and comment on what's happening. And they also discussed that the agenda has to be placed in other areas other than the web, because there's a lot of people who don't have access to a computer or they don't know how to use the internet. He discussed the content that should be included in these agendas. He talked about things that could and couldn't be talked about in board meetings and special board meetings. And this board meeting in particular was about the laws, the Brown Act. So it related to chapter 8 of the book, because it deals with laws that have shaped the way schools are run. And that's it. Thank you for listening.